Imagine receiving an invitation to a party where only one guest is promised to survive. A chilling proposition, isn't it? Now meet our unsuspecting friends, each with their unique quirks and personalities. There's the ever-curious Jane, always up for an adventure. Then we have the skeptical Mike, who's not easily convinced, and who could forget the charismatic Layla, the life of any party. Lastly, we have the reserved Ethan, a man of few words, but with a heart of gold. The invitation arrived, shrouded in mystery, an enticing allure of an unforgettable experience. Jane was thrilled, her adventurous spirit ignited. Mike, ever the skeptic, dismissed it as a tasteless prank. Layla saw it as an exciting social event, while Ethan, the reserved one, had his doubts but chose to tag along. Little did they know they were signing up for a night they would never forget. As the friends arrived at the eerie location, a chilling sense of dread washed over them. The setting sun cast long, dark shadows that seemed to dance and flicker with a life of their own. The wind whispered through the skeletal trees, making the leaves rustle like 1,000 hushed voices. The decrepit mansion loomed ominously before them, its darkened windows like hollow eyes peering into their very souls. They huddled together, their apprehension palpable in the frosty air. There was an unspoken agreement among them, a pact formed in the face of the unknown. They had come this far, and turning back was not an option. Their hearts pounded in their chests like drums of war, echoing the silent chant of impending doom. Despite the lump in their throats and the cold tendrils of fear coiling around their hearts, they pressed on, their determination overshadowed by the towering dread of what awaited them within the mansion. With a deep breath, they stepped inside, sealing their fate. Nothing could have prepared them for what they saw next. The group of friends stood, their hearts pounding like war drums in their chests, as the grand chamber of horrors was revealed. The air grew thick, heavy with the scent of fear, as the chamber door creaked open, revealing a darkness so profound it seemed to swallow the light. Every sound was amplified, echoing off the stone walls, the dripping of water somewhere in the distance, the scurrying of unseen creatures, and the faint whispers of those who had tread this path before them. Each noise was a chilling symphony of dread that penetrated their very souls. Their eyes strained in the darkness, barely making out the silhouettes of grotesque statues, their forms twisted in eternal screams of terror. The floor beneath them was uneven, cold and damp, a testament to the countless that had ventured here before them. The chamber was a labyrinth, a maze of fear and despair, designed to push them to their limits. The walls seemed to close in on them, their shadows dancing menacingly under the flickering light of the dying torches. The silence was suddenly broken by a disembodied voice, its tone as cold as the stone walls around them. "Only one will survive," it echoed, its words hanging heavy in the air. The friends exchanged terrified glances, the reality of their situation sinking in. Each heartbeat, each breath could be their last. The message was clear. This was not just a test of courage, but a game of survival. The Chamber of Horrors was designed to prey on their deepest fears, to exploit their weaknesses, and to reveal the true nature of their characters. Every corner, every shadow, held a new horror, a new challenge that they had to overcome. Their friendship, their loyalty, would be put to the ultimate test. Would they turn on each other, or would they stand united against the horrors that lay ahead? Their only hope was to stick together, but would that be enough? The friends' unity was put to the test sooner than they expected. In the heart of the chamber, a chilling wind whispered of the horrors to come. The friends, huddled together, felt the icy fingers of fear creeping up their spines. Their breaths came in sharp gasps. Their hearts pounded like frantic drumbeats in their chests. The room was an abyss of shadows, and every creak, every groan of the ancient structure was a symphony of dread. Suddenly, a guttural roar echoed through the chamber, a sound so primal it seemed to shake the very foundation of their sanity. Emerging from the darkness was their first ordeal, a labyrinth of nightmarish proportions. It twisted and turned, a serpentine monster of stone and shadows. Its walls were etched with the tormented faces of those who had come before and failed. The friends could almost hear their silent screams, their pleas for mercy that fell on deaf ears. Their unity, their friendship, was their only hope. They linked hands, a chain of determination and desperation. Each step into the labyrinth was a step into the unknown, into the jaws of the beast. The walls seemed to close in around them. The air grew dense, suffocating. Whispers echoed through the stone corridors, fragments of forgotten nightmares. The friends clung to each other, their shared fear a haunting melody that guided them through the labyrinth. The ordeal was a cruel game of cat and mouse. Each turn, each dead end was a new terror, a new test of their unity. They stumbled and fell, they cried out in fear, but they never let go. They had each other, and that was the only light in this abyss of darkness. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, they emerged from the labyrinth, their faces pale, their bodies trembling. They had survived their first ordeal, but the chamber was unforgiving. As they looked around, they saw the next challenge looming in the shadows, a new horror waiting to be unleashed. As the dust settled, they realized this was just the beginning. With each challenge, the chamber grew more terrifying, and their hope began to wane. The sinister game of survival continued, and the once tight-knit group of friends found themselves facing trials more horrifying than the last. The chamber, a malevolent architect of dread, conceived new nightmares at every turn. A labyrinth of bone-chilling cold, then a seemingly endless expanse of darkness, only pierced by the distant screams of their own echoed fear. The friends had to navigate through these harrowing trials, their unity tested by the cruel game they were forced to play. The air grew thick with tension as trust among them began to crumble. The once jovial banter between them was replaced by a stifling silence, broken only by whispers of despair and the tremors of dread. The chamber was an unforgiving judge, exposing their deepest fears and exploiting their frailties. Fear, a constant companion in their journey, began to morph into something more sinister: betrayal. The promise of survival for only one gnawed at their camaraderie, planting seeds of doubt and suspicion. Each challenge was a grim reminder of their solitary fate, and the friends, once a beacon of support for each other, now eyed one another with unease. Desperation, the final horseman in their dreadful saga, made its appearance. Their laughter and jests, once the soundtrack of their friendship, were replaced by pleas for mercy and cries of anguish. The chamber, relentless in its torment, continued to conjure horrors that gnawed at their sanity. The friends, once bound by shared dreams and laughter, now found themselves divided, each caught in a terrifying dance with death. Their unity, once their strength, was now their curse, as each trial brought them closer to their inevitable doom. The chamber, once a symbol of their shared adventure, now stood as a monument to their despair. The chamber was slowly tearing them apart. Finally, after a night of unspeakable horror, the chamber fell silent. The echoes of their desperate cries and pleading prayers were now replaced by a chilling stillness. The final brutal challenge had unfolded, a test of endurance that stretched the limits of human resilience and sanity. The chamber, once filled with the energetic chatter of friendship, was now a somber graveyard of shattered dreams and lost innocence. In the midst of the eerie silence, a figure emerged, trembling from the shadows. It was the last one standing, the ultimate survivor, a beacon of survival in the face of unimaginable terror. Their face, once vibrant and full of life, now held the haunted look of someone who had peered into the abyss and lived to tell the tale. In their survival, there was a profound sense of relief, like a drowning man gasping for his first breath of air. The terror-laden labyrinth was behind them. The incessant dread that had dogged their every step was no more. They had survived the unthinkable. They had endured when all others had succumbed. Yet this relief was a bitter fruit. It was tainted with guilt, a crushing weight that bore down on their soul. They had survived, yes, but at what cost? They had lost their friends, their innocence, their joy, the laughter they once shared, the dreams they once nurtured, all lost in the bloody dance of survival. And then there was the horror. The raw, primal fear that had been their constant companion in the chamber was now a part of them. It was etched into their very being, a permanent scar that would forever remind them of the night they wished to forget. They had escaped the chamber, but could they ever escape the horror? In the end, only one friend walked out of the chamber of horrors, forever changed by the night of terror. The chamber had claimed its victims, leaving behind a lone survivor, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, and a chilling reminder of the horrors humanity is capable of. Y'all, we're wrapping up here, but don't you go anywhere just yet. Show some love, hit that like button. Fancy more content like this? Go on, subscribe and let that bell icon ring so you won't miss a beat. Thanks for tuning in, and remember, sharing is caring. Until next time, stay tuned.